everybody? Dominic D'Angelo. I don't know why I'm getting extra feedback, but this is Dominic D'Angelo, and we are here with Greg Gagne and Magnum. Hold on, I'm getting double time. What's going on here?
What are you
There it
doing?
is.
You got the echoes going.
I got the echoes. I'm back in business. I had
You
another
put a-
window open, and apparently this video is on.
Are we on now?
We're live, man.
Oh, we're live.
All right.
It's hat day.
Look at it, all of us wearing hats.
Yeah.
Ready to roll.
The Magnum hat.
Look at Greg's got the Magnum hat.
Dominic didn't send it to me. He sent it to Laura.
Look at that.
I don't know what him and
Magnum
Laura have
TA.
going, but they got something going.
Looking good.
Or Magnum does, one of the two.
It's the denim hat. You can get it right now on OneTrueSport.com. Go to the Magnum TA collection, and you can get it for yourself right there. But for now, we are here together. It's Greg Gagne, Magnum TA, Straight Talk with the Boss. We're back in business. It's good to see you guys again.
You too.
Hey, thanks.
What have you been up to there, Mustache?
Oh, I've been busy. Was in Las Vegas for Cauliflower Alley Club, and that was such a great event. I got to meet Barbara Goodish. Got to meet J.J. Dillon's daughter, Pam. But there was a huge turnout for just a lot of good legends in the business. Sting was getting inducted or got an award from Lex Luger. Buff Bagwell got an award. We also had, who else was there? Dudley Boys, John Bradshaw Layfield, Kurt Angle received the Mike Mazurki Award. It was a really, really cool experience. I've never been to Cauliflower Alley before. And
yeah, that's a dandy out there.
Yeah. Brian B. Blair obviously was there, and Medusa. Really, really good turnout of people. And it was neat to see a lot of the wrestlers giving back to, what the industry in a lot of ways, I like that aspect of it. So it was really, really cool. Yeah. Have you guys both been or haven't you?
Yeah, I've been there.
You've been there? Mm-hmm.
I've never been.
Never been?
I was supposed to go on years and years ago, and back when Harley was still living, and it was just always, something to keep me from just stopping what I was doing and going to Vegas.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a little far off the beaten path.
It is. It's quite the trip. It can be.
Well, it's fun. Vegas is a good town for it too. We did our ESPN show out of Las Vegas, out of the Showboat.
Oh, that's right. Where was the Showboat located, Greg?
Well, that was kind of near downtown.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So old Vegas.
Once we were down there, we went out to the Strip and got on the plane the next morning. We never used our rooms too much.
I believe that.
How was Barb? Did you have fun?
It was great. She was such a nice person. Really, just an active, proactive person there too during the event. She was helping out and everything, and it was just.
And Pam's sensational too.
Yeah, she was so nice too.
Great gals.
Everybody was so welcoming. There was Darla Skaggs there, who I met for the first time too, and she was super nice. Man, I can't speak highly enough. But I got to meet B. Brian Blair for the first time, which was great. He was a very nice person, and it's cool because I got to see another guy, Bill Alfonso. Fonzie got inducted as a referee, and I do another show with him, and so it was so nice to see the feedback and the reception that he got. But so many of the guys like Sting took time to sign and get pictures, and all those proceeds went to the Cauliflower Alley Club. He took an hour of his time to do all that stuff. Same with Kurt Angle. RVD donated $150 just on for the moment. It's just kind of cool that a lot of these guys and gals are giving back to it. And The Rock's mom was there too, So
did you get any of them to come on our podcast? Did you invite them on?
I didn't invite anybody on. I didn't want to impede.
Good job. Way to go. Jeez, Tia, he's on top of it, isn't he? Right out there in the midst of them. No, I'm not going to invite anybody on.
I did make some connections, so we'll see what happens.
What a host.
You know what? If I thought about it, maybe I could have tried to get Rope Sting in, but he seemed a little preoccupied with his speech too. So, Bob Orton was there too. That was another name. Cowboy Bob Orton was there too.
Well, he's a good friend. Yeah. Why would we want to not talk to him and ask him to come on?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Dang it.
TA, what are we going to do with this guy?
That's it.
Well, we do have some legend stuff to talk about. Some sad passing in regards to. Hey, how's it going?
Courtney.
Hey,
finally.
Yeah. What's it? A new debut here.
Stay in there.
You guys be good and behave.
Hey,
Don't leave now.
Behave.
oh, you know it. You know it.
Take care, Courtney.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Have a good day.
Yep. Man, we never know who's going to show up here. See, maybe Sting will pop in and make a cameo on my
That was better than anybody you ever got on there.
I haven't gotten anybody on here, so
No, you haven't.
But I did want to talk about the passing of Sid Vicious. Unbeknownst, his son announced that he had like stage 4 cancer, lymphoma, and they tied it into Roundup, like the weed killer. Roundup was apparently the culprit of it all. He kept this on low profile, and but was surrounded by family and everything when he passed away. Magnum, did you get to cross paths with Sid at all while you working WCW and anything?
I did. I was there when, in that weird time where WCW was having such a hard time figuring out what to do with him, and it was right before he went up to New York for his first run, and I hated to see him go, but I mean he got a great opportunity up there, and of course he ended up coming back to WCW. He was back and forth, but I mean he arguably had the best physique of any big man in the business. I mean, literally, there's never been anybody that size, even today. I mean, even as good as Braun Strowman looks, for instance. Sid looked like someone from another planet. I mean, he was just an absolute, freak of nature, and quite the athlete. So he definitely made a huge mark in the industry, and sad because when you didn't see him out a lot, and he always appeared to be healthy, and he kept those things close to the vest. So it was I was kind of shocked. We just lose Kevin Sullivan, and then boom, Sid, and you don't ever take a day for granted.
No, definitely not. Greg, have you ever crossed paths with Sid?
Oh yeah, when I was working with WCW, he came down there.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of the talent, some of the guys working with us didn't get along with him too well, but him and I seemed to get along okay. I had a lot of respect for him, and I think he did for me and the ideas that we had. He was a specimen. I mean, God Almighty, a guy that could move like that, and he was. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him. No, man. He our prayers go out to his family. This is tough. When was he 63 years old?
That's it.
Oh my God. It's tough, and you hear about it. We're hearing about it too much lately. We're getting in that. I'm 75 and TA is a lot younger than I am. And it's a tough one. Every time you lose somebody, the talent he had and the mark he made on professional wrestling in that era, it was phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I keep saying on every show that I'm doing that he was just like the prototype of what you would depict a pro wrestling star at that time period to look like. He was like chiseled out, and he was like really the first monster heel I probably became familiar with as a kid. I remember like 1995 and stuff like that. So he was back in WWE at that point, and I remember just the influence, just his look was would draw you in, and and then he was just an intense individual inside the ring. And
well, he was so unique. I think some of the people in promotion that ran the territories and that had a tough time with him because they couldn't figure him out.
Yeah.
And if you just listen to him a little bit and talk with him, boy, you could get a lot out of him. At least I had that feeling. But other people had tough times with him, and I don't know why they did. He'd lay out what his thoughts were, and if you listen to him, but some guys, didn't want to listen. But a great talent.
Some of the knock on him, I know, was that he's a big fan of softball and doing that and kind of things like that. But like maybe wrestling wasn't his like primary passion, so to speak. And so a lot of people think that that's kind of maybe what held him back in certain ways. But you kind of look at today's world in pro wrestling and stuff like that, there's been a lot more accommodations made for talent in regards to outside ventures and certain things like that. It'd be pretty interesting to see how Sid would have worked in the modern day of wrestling, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, rest in peace to him. Guys, if you have any questions, we are live, so be sure to get them in and chime in. Use the super chat. That always helps out. We see CB in here. We see Alan in here. We see Kyle in here. Matt Karcher. Today's my birthday. Can I get a shout out from TA and Greg? Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt. Well, thanks for joining us and celebrating with us as well. So, turn in the big, whatever age you're turning. I hope it's a good one. So, um, but
83 today.
Yeah. Oh, 83.
Right up my alley.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I hope I know how to still operate a computer at 83. We'll see. God willing. What was I got? Oh, so speaking of big men, I think this is kind of a good transition into that. We were talking a little bit off air about Bronson Reed and what he's been doing the past few weeks on Raw, really making a name for himself. And beforehand, it didn't seem like there was a big focus on him, on the product. You know, he was kind of like a big monster heel that would just kind of do the favors for some people. But now, after, takes out Seth Rollins, we've seen him take out R-Truth, The Miz, and now we saw this week Braun Strowman in a very big way. Magnum, did you get to catch that Bronson Strowman segment on Raw at all?
No, I did not. I saw the lead up to it and the hype and the pitch, and I did not see the contest. But I'm a big fan of his work, and he's all in. His commitment to sacrifice his body, coming off that top rope with that crazy death dive he does, and I mean he's just so agile, like a lot of big men that we've known, from the Bam Bam Bigelows and guys from the past. So he's definitely like a throwback, to me, of a lot of the great big men we've seen come down the pike. And I'm glad to see they're giving him a push, because he looks the part, and there's nothing babyface about him. He's a heel through and through, and I think he plays it great.
TA, did you tape Raw by any chance?
Did I do what?
Did you tape Raw?
I tape all of them, so I can go back and watch.
You got to watch this match.
You got to see it, yeah.
It's the most ungodly match I've ever seen in professional wrestling. It was. I've seen, and you have seen, some just horrific matches. The guys just go. These two beat the living crap out of each other. It was. I had to show Laura today. She said, "Oh my God, what they're gonna kill? They about almost did kill each other." Oh God, it's ungodly. You got to watch it tonight.
Man,
I'll check it out.
Definitely check it out, and it was a fun throwback, and a lot of like the big man kind of battle match, and then they brawl inside the ring for a while, but then they
don't tell him everything. Well, he's gonna watch it tonight.
Setting it all up. Yeah, you got to tune in though. It was really great.
Actually, the only thing I've caught all week is AEW, and the only reason that I got drawn into that was because of what's going on with Ricochet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
So I got that picked up on my radar, because it'd been dark and silent on him for so long, and obviously something very lucrative happened for him to have done what he did, because he's very much a businessman and takes care of his family. Got a young son, and of course he's engaged, and he knows that he's can only do what he does with his body for so many years. So I'm sure that he got a deal made to him that, I might even pretend to know what it is, but it had to be something very special for him to have stepped away from, at least playing out all the cards at WWE, to see, what might come of it. And I wanted to see it too. I don't know. Did you see him work last night? See the match by any chance?
I saw the match with Kyle Fletcher, him and Kyle Fletcher.
And what a great first opponent to feature him on that Kyle Fletcher. I hadn't really watched him a lot, but I saw him about a week or so ago on a CMLL show where
Mm-hmm.
they had that international show where some of the AEW talent was there, and he is so multidimensional and such a talent. I had no idea the depth of what a performer he is. But for that to be Ricochet's inaugural, you know, debut in that arena with that guy on that level was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. I mean, he set him up, incredibly, and honestly, he's got more people that are in his wheelhouse of stylization there that are top stars. From the whole group of them. I mean, there's he fits in that genre of that 180 to 220 pound competitor really well, and he plays well in that scene because he looks on a solid par with guys that size. You put him out there with a guy that weighs 265, 270, and he looks much smaller. He's not a little guy. I mean, he's probably 195 pounds and all muscle. And I mean, it's very impressive looking in person. You just put him next to a great big guy, and he doesn't have the same credibility factor. And again, Will Ospreay, and I'm sure that they'll be embarked in something soon. And Brian Danielson being the champion. There's so many different ways they can go that I hope they keep their eye on the ball with him and really give him a good opportunity to showcase what he's capable of, because I don't think he's really got his fair shake. I think that people have tried and then kind of backed off, and he's made some progress getting his personality across, and then they kind of backed off again. And it's I think it's a little bit more of a dog eat dog world in the WWE. And if you're not a big dog, and you don't catch on really quickly, you get kind of sidestepped. So
Right.
look forward to seeing what they do.
Me too. Greg, have your been thoughts about Ricochet? Even if you haven't seen him in AEW yet, overall, what have your assessment has been on it?
I really can't comment on that much because I've never seen him that much.
Yeah.
I've heard really great things about him and how good he is in the ring, but I don't want to say I've seen him and he's fantastic, but he probably is. I guess he's a big man, and
well, Ricochet. So he's more on the smaller side of it all, but he has that. He's kind of been he was the first Will Ospreay in certain ways when it comes to the mainstream wrestling. So once he got into the fold of it all, he's got that kind of athleticism and speed and like some of that just blow your mind kind of stuff. So very much almost like a Rey Mysterio for the modern day starting off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he but to Magnum's point, I do agree with you. I don't think he got much of a fair shake in WWE because I think with McMahon in power and certain things like that, I think that really played a hiccup to his progression.
Okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Ricochet. Yeah.
And no, he's phenomenal in the ring. I have seen him. I watched him quite a bit when he was in the WWE. Mm-hmm. I forgot that he went over to AEW, but no, TA we've talked a lot about him, mm-hmm. and he is spectacular. And he's got good psychology, so he should do really well there. I would think he'd be climbing right up to the top there really quick.
Well, they put him on that path.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have, and they positioned him well already. He came out at All In for the Gauntlet match. He got a huge reaction, and the handcuffs were off when it came to him and what he can do in the ring. I know WWE has their kind of protocol or the method of how they handle the stuff in the ring. And so AEW is a little bit more looser when it comes to that stuff. And it gives Ricochet's an opportunity to kind of show what more he's capable of. And he's kind of already done that with that match with Cal Fletcher. He was doing a lot more different things you wouldn't have seen in WWE. And it's going to be an exciting time for him. And yeah, that's a really interesting point, Magnum, because I didn't know all the details about him, being a family man and having those kind of things coming up. And so like the money is always a factor and stuff like that when it comes into play. But maybe from an athletic and what he still wants to convey in the ring, that I'm sure also was an incentive for him to maybe make the jump over to AEW too.
When you guys are talking about Ricochet, you know who I thought you were talking about? The
Who?
great big Samoan guy.
Oh,
No.
Hey,
No,
who's the big Samoan guy?
and that Cal Fletcher is he's money all day long.
Yeah,
I mean he's big, tall, and explosive. The thing that impressed me about Cal is that he doesn't look like he's setting up to do something. He explodes into it. Like he doesn't look like he gets ready. Like if you watch Ricochet and Will Ospreay both, when they get ready to make a move, sometimes it looks like they're like on your mark, get set, like they get in a stance before they
yeah,
launch, which is a stylization. I'm not knocking it, but Cal can do the same thing, but when he just does it explosively, it doesn't look like there's any. It looks more off the cuff, and not thought is thought through or pre. I don't know what the right word I'm looking for, but something about there's something in his style that would be a great blend in those other guys to make them even more just that believability factor or that it's like when you get so intense and you're in the core of something where you're coming back from something or whatever, you're not going to have those pregnant pauses before you do something. You're going to explode into it. It's just like watching Hangman and Swerve last night.
yeah.
So if a guy has come into my house, okay, so I'm really liking Hangman what he's done, but
Me too.
this is a production or a mindset thing. If a guy has come into my house and I hate his guts, and I'm going to call him a piece of shit on national television, which he did, there's not going to be any invisible barrier that's going to let some guy get in my face that I'm not going to knock the daggone taste out of his mouth. And that was what was wrong with that whole segment because it left him looking unsure of himself rather than the ass kicker that he started becoming. It's like, man, when that guy went through that invisible barrier and he's got his sidekick over there doing the hoochie coochie dance and all that crap, I'd have been stopping a mud hole and everything within 2 feet of me. I mean there's nothing keeping you apart from each other. The guy's not going to give me a philosophy lesson when he's broke into my home and tell me about watching me take my pregnant wife to the hospital to deliver our child.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to smack your head off.
I would fucking knock your block off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You give me an opening. I want to make the comeback for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. There's a lot of exciting things going on over there. I don't know who's pulling the mojo and the magic. I hope they can capitalize on it because really, they've got more intriguing things kind of flying around now than they've had in quite a while. And I hope that translates into viewers because at the end of the day, again, it's business. They can say, oh, well, our advertisers are happy, whatever. People want to see numbers. We want to see them pull numbers and truly be competitive on that level because there's a lot of flipping talent that look like they're just all itching to bust wide open and do something.
I'm with you, Magnum. I'm with you.
I'll tell you what. I watched a WWE show from Monday.
Yep.
And from top to bottom, that's probably the best programming I've seen from WWE.
Yeah.
The continuity.
They've set the bar so high.
Oh man.
But
this one's really good, TA, from the top to the bottom. Yeah. And Orton came out and did an unbelievable, great interview.
Yes, he did.
Match with Gunther, Chad Gable, and
the Creed brothers.
Howdy had one of the best matches I've seen in a long, long time.
Man,
they were the last match, and they had about 3-segment match.
Yeah,
3 or 4, and they had a hell of a match. And every match was really, really good the other night.
Yeah. But, Greg, I'm with you though. That Randy Orton promo, I think that might have been his best promo I've ever seen him do. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
recent
me too.
bias,
Yeah.
but it was just he was so like
It was spontaneous.
so,
Everything
yes,
was.
he was
It,
so
was,
into
it
his own.
wasn't. It didn't. It wasn't like it was written out for him.
No.
Everything was spontaneous, and it was right on and heartfelt,
Mm-hmm.
and you could feel the emotion, and that's what you want to get from the public. Get that emotion so they can feel that, and what that match is going to be like.
I'm excited for it, and that's taking place this weekend at Berlin. Him and Gunther, I'm pumped for that match, and they got me invested into it. It's going to be a fun show. I think I'm excited to see how that crowd is going to be too. That whenever they go overseas, you can always know that crowd is raucous when it comes to stuff.
Well, they're going to be behind Gunther. He made his mark there in Berlin.
Yeah.
So they're going to probably be cheering for him.
Speaking of making your mark, Liam Evans has a good comment here. I used to watch Kyle back on the Indies in the UK years ago when he was part of the tag team Aussie Open, becoming a great talent. Yeah, to Magnum's point. ATF says, you know what? You can't miss a comeback on Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. Oh, actually, I clicked on that one. That's why it popped up. But to Liam's point, and to what you were saying, Greg or Magnum, Kyle, he's only 26 years old. I think he's young, and so if he's that capable right now of doing what he's doing, imagine what he's going to do in the future coming up here too. So pretty wild stuff there.
What do you mean young? 26 years old. Both T and I were in main events all over the place.
You were mad. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Probably Magnum. Probably before you were 26, weren't you?
For a little bit of time.
Yeah, I got my break to work on top at 24.
At 24?
Mid-South. So yeah, I was one of the fortunate ones that got it early.
I was 25.
You were 25?
Yeah.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I was an idiot when I was 25.
What do you think's changed?
Yeah, I knew I was setting myself up for that.
You opened yourself up for that one, buddy.
I set myself up for that one pretty good. Instagram, a wrestling historian. Thanks for the Canadian $2, eh? When did your dad start saving AWA footage? He's curious, Greg. When did
we start what?
Saving the AWA footage, making sure you guys archived it and kept it.
Boy. I really can't. I would say in the 70, maybe 75.
75, okay.
Yeah. That was probably right around the right time, I would think. Yeah.
Man, I would love to dive into that. That's the thing I need to make a note to do for both you guys, is to dive into the video history of all that stuff, and I want to watch it.
McMahon owns it all. I mean, he bought it all from us, so
But to that point, it doesn't all exist, because the Crockett's, even in the 80s, were still taping over tapes.
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah, man.
There were. So that for me, of course, no one had the forethought to realize what a library was going to mean, 15, 20 years down the road. But that was so expensive. It was just looked at as another way to stretch the proverbial dollar.
That's what we did. That's what they did the AWA to it. When we first got on, they tape over that, the TV stuff, the arena stuff though. And later on, once with ESPN, we had all those tapes. So there was a pretty good library there.
Man, yeah. Holy smokes. A lot to dive in with that too, I'm sure. Man.
A lot of great personalities back in the era that TA and I were in. He was, a little behind, quite a bit behind me, but that era of talent and personalities, I don't think you'll ever have that again in professional wrestling. I mean, there were some real characters, and what you saw is what you got with the majority of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't being developed into a character; they were already a character.
Hell yeah, right?
ATA.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what you're saying, and a lot of it's got to do with the time and the culture. You could you couldn't you couldn't get away with it. You just couldn't be what be the young Terry Funks and and Dick Murdochs and even Wahoo and you just couldn't get away with all the shenanigans and antics and things that we did on a daily basis. And I think that's the funny part of it, because it's like it's like watching the Ric Flair story where he's talking to the psychiatrist and telling him what he did in a week, and the guy's just like so flabbergasted, and it wouldn't have been flabbergasting for any of us for him, because everybody was doing the same thing. It was just, that was a daily life thing. You didn't think about, oh, I'm going to see how many beers I can consume today or this week or whatever. It was part of a lifestyle, just like guys that go get hydrated with Gatorade today. Back then, you bought a case of beer and hydrated, but which wasn't a healthy thing. But it's just just different time, and not necessarily to Greg's point, yeah, some great personalities, but it wouldn't pass the litmus test today. We'd be in hot water for various and sundry reasons, and wouldn't be thought of as warmly and kindly as we probably are in some circles today. If somebody thought about that in real time with their real kids or whatever, it might not have played out too well. You know what I mean, Greg?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Let me ask you guys this:
It was a great era. It was a great era back then.
Right?
I don't know if the talent today is having as much fun as we did.
That is very, very true.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money and they're living a lifestyle that we certainly could not have afforded, and have more time on their hands to do fun things in, probably have a much better overall quality of life. But as far as the blazing adventures, I doubt seriously that they'll have a lifetime of it that would make up 1 month, back in the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure it is. And like because I mean, a lot of your stories are all on the road, so it's like, and sure, these guys make road trips and stuff like that, but not to the level. They're mostly in the air and they're doing things like that.
It's become so corporate.
Yes.
I mean, it is. It's just corporate.
Yeah.
And back then it was, you got over or you didn't get over on your own.
Right.
And then, God, the personalities we had, you never knew what was going to happen the next day or the next night.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
Let me ask you guys this. Now, so many wild characters, Greg, you mentioned it and everything like that, but who was the most wild character that you would have to either be on the road with or go with? And that would be like, oh man, this is going to be a heavy duty week because I'm with this guy, or like I'm got to deal with this person throughout the week. Is there somebody that really stands out and be like almost that you didn't want to party or go with them to be that level where it's like, he's going to be a handful?
Well, I'm sure in the AWA, we had a lot of character. I mean, there was guys you know, Mad Dog and Crusher and, those, but Ray Stevens and Wahoo McDaniels.
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch.
Oh man, stories. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, we told those stories on here, but
oh yeah.
God almighty. And when Wahoo got shot in the head from that hunting trip by Ray, and Ray is laughing like that. Wahoo, I'm going to kill you, you son of a bitch. He's got his gun up. People are disappearing. Pheasants are flying everywhere. People are running through the cornfield, and these two are screaming and laughing. And Ray's laughing, and Wahoo's ready to kill him.
Kill him.
I really thought he was too. And then my mother-in-law gets a call, up at their cabin. We were coming back from a trip, and I had Barron and Wahoo, and maybe I've told this story before. It's car in front of us hit a deer. Wahoo stops, throws it in the back end of the truck.
Yeah.
Brings it back. The next day, he sends me into town to get flour and a bunch of stuff. And I get a call from my wife. What the hell's going on up there? I said, what? She said, my mother got a call that there's some bald-headed guy and an Indian have the deer on the clothesline, and they're cutting it up.
Just
Who are they? And Wahoo's got just little shorts on, and Barron's got his top off and the bald head there, and there they are cutting. Jesus, yeah,
it's like a cult meeting or something.
Yeah, he wanted to cook that deer for us.
How about it? Jeez, oh man.
Oh,
Magnum, how about you? Who's the most wild person? Like, if you had to pick somebody on the road with it, you're just like, wow, heavy duty to deal with. Hollywood.
Well, hang on just a second.
There's so many. They're all calling in.
Yeah, my son's having a crisis. And
if you need to take it, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I got it. It's just a push of a button. And, big bang boom.
Courtney will love that. She's
green light to the rescue. Yeah, it was. See, when I broke in, and I was a rookie, and I think I was a rookie for. I think I had to play the rookie card for about 2 years. I got rookie to death, and they just put me in like the darndest situations, and always because you could handle yourself, and they couldn't like physically intimidate you. They tried to like poison, give you alcohol poisoning, and then if they couldn't outdrink you, they just tried to get it going on so many days that they'd make you sick, by doing it. I mean, from everything from being with Terry Funk in San Antonio drinking upside down margaritas, and eating the worm at the bottom of the tequila bottles, and the Jack and Jerry Briscoe getting in the car with them on the way to the town, and they got a case of Budweiser iced down on the way to the town, and a Glad bag this big around rolled up with daggone left-handed cigarettes in it, and expect you to keep up because you're the rookie, and as I got older and actually had a little bit of sanity about me, they didn't try to intimidate me like that, so it wasn't quite as big a thing, but yeah, the Terry Funks, the Manny Fernandezes, the Jack and Jerry Briscoes, those guys were just all wild-eyed Mexican silver, man. All the stinking time. You never knew. Terry Funk kept me up all stinking night long the night before my first TV when I went to Tampa, and he'd met me in Texas, and we got to be buds there. And his brother Dory was the booker, and Terry didn't keep me up all stinking night long, and I had to go in and make the TV and meet daggone Eddie Graham for the first time, and I felt like my head was going to explode. I mean, it was just absolute, and then go all the way to Miami and work that night, So and then it never ended. Just kept right on going. It would have killed a lesser person just back then. I don't know how I survived my early 20s.
Holy, when you look back, really, it's amazing any of us did. With that crew that was on the road with you. God Almighty.
Yeah.
It was sensational.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
You learned a lot.
I probably wouldn't survive a week if I'm lucky. A weekend. Let's just say that.
Probably not.
Probably not. Man, party with all this. Kyle Easton, when do you think TNA and All-Star figures will ship? Is there any word on that, Magnum, when it comes to the Power Town stuff?
Oh, the Power Town stuff is I I've got so many different deals going. Greg's got me in the middle of. I can't even tell you who's on first and what's on
What's
second.
on second?
I think I'm going to table all comments till about Thanksgiving. I'll give you guys an update before Turkey Day.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean we literally have 4 different lines in various stages of manufacturing in Hong Kong, and we're working on 2 new lines as we speak that will be introduced probably sometime late September, sometime in October, and it's just a lot happening. Power Town is becoming the power universe, and I need a couple more heads to keep all this in. It's a whole lot to keep
on the
up.
TNA stuff. How soon will that hit the market, you think? Or what did I do? Just
I don't
beat
know.
myself up?
Camera made a one off somehow.
I had the little secret button I just said.
Yeah, Magnum had the magic button.
He asked me
Okay.
a hard question, so I hit the button. Now you went off.
I sure shit don't know how to get this back on.
Oh,
You got a little camera on there somewhere. You got to click.
yeah. Did you see the little wheel down there? The settings wheel.
The little wheel.
There's a little wheel there. Wonder if what happened exactly. How?
Oh shit!
Click on
Yeah.
that.
I got Taylor Swift up.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be better to look at if you put her up. Let's.
A little
So if you
circle.
go there, did you find the little wheel, the little settings wheel there?
Hi, Greg. Find the button that says "Start Camera."
Start camera.
Start camera. Producer Robert.
And Laura left.
Uh-oh.
I think I'm blacked out for the rest of the time.
Go back to the.
I'll be the radio guy.
Go back to the window where you see all of our faces.
Yeah.
Okay, and then at the bottom there, you should see a button that says "Mute," and then right next to that, it should say "Start Camera."
Oh, start camera. That
There
one.
you
There
go.
you
Wow.
go.
Producer Robert coming through.
Is the show over now?
That is why I'm here. That is why I'm here. Good stuff, guys.
Man,
Thanks, Robert.
we got like tornado warnings here, and it just got really dark.
I
in
know
here.
you're like shrouded in darkness. I thought Laura turned the lights off.
Okay, I'm going to move for 1 second. Stay.
No,
You guys talk.
Okay. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Let's take this question here from Shannon. Magnum, do you think that they could have used Scott Hall in your position right after your accident? He was AWA Tag Champs with Kurt Hennig at the time and had a similar look. Well, they patterned them off you a little bit, right, Magnum?
Yeah, they did, and Scott obviously became an amazing worker. I don't think he was ready for it right at that particular juncture.
Uh-oh. Now you hit a button, Greg. You got rid of
I
Magnum.
I didn't touch anything.
You got rid of Magnum.
I didn't touch
Revenge.
shit.
Revenge.
I'm just sitting here. I promise. His TA, did we lose him
We did
completely?
lose him. He'll be back. He'll be back, I'm sure. I think. Greg, what did Vern think of Paul Heyman?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I mean, Paul.
It just went black. It said you're a guest and you can't be on this.
I thought Greg hit a button now and got rid of you.
I didn't touch anything. I'm staying.
I don't believe him.
No,
I'm not even picking up my notes that I had down. We haven't had to use them, but
I think
I'm not touching anything.
Greg, I think you're a tech mastermind. You're just You're just controlling all the
Oh
buttons.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm tech.
But anyway, but Scott, in a different segment in time, hands down could have done it. He was a little too big to play the same role, because I was able to play well in the role with in other words, he was as big almost as Nikita at that time. I mean, he was huge, and you had to be able to look like you were fighting back, overcoming some odds that just that sheer difference in size. Because I mean, I was 240, he was about 270, 275, and 30 pounds of muscle. I mean, he was just a specimen. So it just because it kind of looks like a plug and play, it would have been some dynamics there that would have made it not quite the same, piece. of the
Yeah,
puzzle.
could have changed it up.
And,
Yeah.
you'll never try to replace somebody with a look-alike or whatever. Anyway, that never fares out well. You need to be your own way and your own thing, and which what Scott did. I mean, we laughed about it. He and I and my son and Kevin Nash were all in Vegas back the first AEW show. As a matter of fact, we were there for that, and we were sitting in a restaurant, and he was telling that story about how it drove him crazy that they were trying to push him as Magnum Scott Hall and all this stuff, and he told my son, he said, yeah, he said I might have been taller than your dad, but when he stood on his wallet, he would look right over top of my head because I was making no money, and he was the number one guy in the country. So but Scott was a super guy, man, and he could have done anything he wanted to do, but he ended up being the best version of himself he could have ever been.
Yeah, yeah. Greg, Vern had big plans for Scott, right? He was going to put the title on him and all that stuff. Was that the original plan and everything?
Well, not really.
Okay.
No, Scott was really green when he came to the AWA.
Mm-hmm.
Came up, I believe, from Kansas City, and alone in the ring, he didn't have the technology, anything to put a match together.
Yeah,
he had to be led around, and that's why we put him with Kurt Hennig and put him in tag team matches. And the talent we had, the heel tag teams, were great leaders, and they brought him along. And unfortunately, after about 6 months of being tag team champions, he's got the big head and he's telling everybody else what they should be doing and what they shouldn't do. He rubbed a lot of guys the wrong way.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah. He was pretty full of himself at that stage, and he had all these great veterans around to learn from, and he just thought he should be running the show. So he didn't. He lost some great opportunities with the AWA because of that. But once he was gone to, I don't know where he went from there, if he went to the WWE or not, but getting in that environment, he kind of straightened out. He finally found himself.
Yeah, definitely. And you think about it too. I think it was DDP, the one that suggested that he kind of changes his whole look. Everybody was like bleach blonde or the mullets and all that stuff. And it was like, hey, keep your hair black and go with that. And then completely changed his whole look and patterned himself off the Scarface gimmick with Razor Ramon and kind of did all that stuff. And that's what got me hooked. He's my all-time favorite. So it's all.
Well, he did a great job, but he needed somebody to turn him around.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas did it, but he didn't want to listen to anybody. When he came up, he was so humble, and about 6 months later, you couldn't talk to the guy. But thank God he straightened out, because he turned into be a phenomenal talent.
Yeah, he really,
great personality. Yep.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be a fan. So it's yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he's my number one. I got way back in the day. I have the figure somewhere here. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is.
Well, maybe you'd rather have him on the show than TA and I.
It's gone. I can't get him.
I know.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got that figure right in the toy store when I was 10 years old, and so that's what hooked me. But
was that from the AWA?
No, this is from WWE. I do have his AWA figure though. I bought it off of eBay.
The Remco one.
The Remco one. I'll have to show that at some point. It's in my office over there. So, but did want to cover real quick the news breaking, and I guess we should talk about this a little bit. Is that the Netflix is going to be airing the Vince McMahon series, this documentary? Somebody actually asked about it. Question for Magnum and Greg. Today, Netflix announced on September 26th. I believe it's the 25th, actually. The Vince McMahon documentary will be released, a 6-part episode. What do you think this doc will have in Vince's legacy? Well, they did mention all the allegations and stuff like that, and everything that will be addressed, but it's by Bill Simmons, who's the ESPN and all that, and or had those ties previously. But is that something you guys are going to tune into? Is that Netflix documentary? You think will you tune into that?
It's ugly.
It is
bad timing.
Yep.
I mean, they're looking at again viewership and people wanting to watch a train wreck,
Yeah.
and I don't think it. I think if they were to have done it later, and when the smoke's cleared and all the legal stuff is finally done, uh, you might stand a chance at telling the historical facts of what he contributed and the trails that he blazed that set the landscape for wrestling being what it is as we know it today. But he's not going to win any humanitarian awards no matter what they do. And and I'm afraid that it's not going to be as well received, and maybe just be more of a painful thing for the family because I really care more about it affects Stephanie and the kids and the grandkids for this father grandfather figure and everything else, how that's played out in the public for them more. I don't think the true diehard wrestling fan needs that to feel complete somehow, you know, at this juncture in time. And I think they should be celebrating today and the new strides that they've made and the excellence that their product is week in and week out and just embrace the future rather than try to tell that story right now. Just for me personally.
Well, from our source, I guess it was planned beforehand before all the stuff hit.
Right.
So it was more of a fluff piece, I think.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe most of it was in the can before all this happened, and maybe it won't even come across. Who knows?
I'd leave it in the can. I'd just leave it in that can and
Yeah.
bring it back. Bring it back. A year or so from now, and because there is a great story there to tell. It's just going to be tainted.
Yes.
And it's going to take away from all the because nobody is 100% bad. I mean, everybody that's touched the thing has got their good, their bad, whatever. And there's been so many people that have had, uh, from all sides of the business, in and out, that had their things about Vince because of his, just his control and the way he ran the ship and ran the business and ran it with an iron glove kind of deal. And it did some people great justice and did a disservice to some others, perhaps. Just because he could, and and so there's going to have that. But when you mix in the dark, deviant side, so deep, dark and deviant that if you could put a microscope on 50 other people that were in all those errors, they would look not so good either. And so it's just not. I don't know how you just sidestep that and act like it didn't happen any more so than trying to celebrate the great work of Chris Benoit when we're all still just you know still stuck in awe over how that tragedy all took place.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's just some things are just left better to let them lie.
Mhm.
From how it sounds, since Raw is going to Netflix in January, and then Netflix is airing this in September, it's kind of feeling like the company's trying to get ahead of it, and I think they are gonna address the allegations because they're talking about the journalists that have been a part of it, and that it kind of broke the news on a lot, I guess, through the Wall Street Journal and what have you. But it was originally announced, as our producer Robert saying, it was originally announced in 2020. So yeah, it was going to be like a fluff piece starting off. But after all these allegations and stuff came out, looks like they're going to pivot and put focus on exactly what happened a little bit more. So, and I know Bill Simmons, who is an executive producer of the thing, he has a strong relationship with Nick Khan, who's the CEO of WWE currently at the time. So it looks like maybe the company's trying to, okay, here's the Vince stuff. We're putting it out there. This is what the documentary is. We're going to move on in January, kind of thing. I think that might be the game plan potentially. But yeah, is it in the grand scheme of it? Is it even good to air something like that? So if you're the company. So it's something to think about. But want to get your guys' thoughts on that. So appreciate that.
Well, wrestling gets huge ratings. Hey, I've got a question.
Yeah.
I was watching Raw the other night, and I see they're plugging now. SmackDown is moving from Fox to, SmackDown.
USA.
Yeah.
That's
When did that all come about?
That happened around the same time they announced a Netflix deal. SmackDown needed to find a home. Well, there was a little in between because they were like, "Where's SmackDown going to go? Who's going to buy SmackDown?" And sure enough, they're jumping over to USA, so they'll be taking Raw's spot, not on Mondays.
Didn't Fox have really great ratings with?
They had good ratings, but I think Fox was not ultimately happy with what they were getting from it, and they wanted to move on. That's the notion that I got. What I read about it, and that for some reason they think they could maybe get more ratings on a different kind of show. But the live product of what you're looking for when it comes to that stuff, that's the thing. That's big time if you want that. And so I am a little astounded that they decided to do that. Fox decided to pivot from it. So. But that's going to happen. Probably, Robert. Do you know what time when Fox was going to do it? Fox was ultimately, like you said, was not pleased with the return on investment. Robert,
hang on one sec. We got some big winds coming in here.
The tornado's coming to Greg.
Yeah, you see the trees out here. Let me turn a light on.
Holy smokes, Greg! Maybe you should go down the basement and get ready for it.
Jeez.
Oh my! We're gonna lose Greg here. He's in Twisters, the new Twisters movie coming up.
I might have to run to the basement.
That's what I'm saying, Greg. Don't sacrifice yourself.
I'm right up here on the floor that's going to get nailed
on the show.
So,
you're gonna get twisted.
Next time I go, I might be gone for good.
You're gonna be in the land of Oz.
Oh God!
Great Gagne and the Scarecrow all hanging out.
I'll end up on Netflix.
You'll end up on Netflix. Jeez.
My head stuck right up Vince's ass.
Oh my God. Let's get a couple more questions in here. Let's see. Robert, dealer's choice. Why don't you pick something? I'm seeing some good ones. I don't want to take them all. So let's take a look. Okay, here we go. James H. Jackson. Have either of them watched the modern NWA on CW app under Billy Corgan? And if so, what do you think of the product? Have either of you guys seen the new NWA that Billy has been doing?
I have not.
Have not. Magnum, how about you?
I haven't either, and it's simply because of availability. Because the times that I do have opportunity to sit down and click the channels or whatnot, it's a AEW or NXT. Seems like 7 days a week they're there, and I just don't. The only thing I go watch on an app is CMLL on YouTube because I watch Tesla on there, but that's the only thing I watch on the app.
Yeah. It's if you caught the early stuff that Corgan was doing with the NWA Power and stuff like that, Nick Aldis and all that was the champ. It was a really, really cool, fun product because the neat thing about it was all in the studio. But so you had the studio wrestling audience, but there would be no music when they would enter or anything like that. So it was all relying on the talent kind of like just presenting themselves in the right fashion. It was just really, really well done. I haven't watched it in a long time, but if it's anything to that, it's pretty an engaging thing. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Here's a good one from Shannon. We'll close it out with this one, I think. Magnum, do you have any good Gordon Soley stories? Did he help in any way with the booking? I'm a life fan from Florida and started watching in '76. So Gordon, to me, is the best commentator. Any good Gordon Soley stories there, Magnum?
I didn't get to spend much time with him except at the TV tapings because we were wrestling. We were working 7 days a week, so I didn't get to hang out at the bar and get the good gin and tonic stories and things that he was infamous for. But I had my early memories of doing color commentating work and working with him because they put me on the broadcast with him some when I was in Florida. And he was just such a professional and helped bring the best out of young guys like myself. Made me feel very comfortable. And I remember he used to call me, this was way before Magnum, he called me the Virginia gentleman. I always
Ooh.
remember him saying that. And it was just, again, I understand why, Jim Ross, patterned so much of what he did kind of, from Gordon and those early days. And, he was the dean of wrestling from, the work he did on the Superstation on TBS and there in Florida. Uh, you know, he's somebody that not only made a mark, but he was just respected by everybody. It wasn't like someone that didn't know what they were talking about, didn't know what they were doing. He enhanced everyone that he ever called a match for, and just like you can't have a great match without a good referee, you're not going to have a good match on television without somebody putting it over the way only a Gordon Soley could, or a Lance Russell back in the day, or Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross. I mean, those guys are what helped sell it, and many times they outsold what they were watching with their eyes and made people believe they were seeing something, even more outstanding than it actually was. So those guys were really important, and he was a pioneer in what he did.
Yeah, yeah. Gordon was great. Great commentator. I love his kind of just his voice and everything like that. He set a level of professionalism to the product that added to the sports like feel of it all. And definitely a great one to tune into.
We had a great one in the AWA. We had Marty O'Neill.
Yeah, talk about him a little bit, Greg.
Oh God, he was phenomenal. To me, I watched Gordon. Him and Gordon were probably on the same level, far above all the rest of them. He knew how to build people, build it on the commentary and on the interviews. He was a small little guy. He was a baseball player at one time. He liked to have the drinks afterwards. We had some great stories about him, little Irishman, but he really sold. He sold the talent in the ring, on the interviews, and run. Don't walk to the St. Paul Civic Center or you're going to miss a good one.
Yeah, we'll have to share some more stories.
Can you see the lightning here?
Well, it looks like illuminated. I will say that.
Yeah.
It looks like you're gonna.
It's dark out there. It's pretty windy.
Your feed's gonna cut out anytime. That's what it looks like, Greg.
I'm gone.
He's out of here. Well, let's us get out of here real quick. But I do want to plug a couple things. New merch up on OneTrueSport.com. Check this out. We got Magnum TA and Nikita is part of our. Yeah, so we got the Best of 7 T-shirt there. On the back of that T-shirt has the Best of 7 series and the dates and everything like that. So you can get that at OneTrueSport.com, and you can get the Magnum TA, the boss of Chesapeake, Virginia. We might have to get a Virginia Gentleman shirt now that you mentioned that, Magnum.
Oh,
so we'll have to get something.
We'll leave that in posterity.
You'll leave that in the past. So, but we also have Greg Gagne. Boom. Look at that.
Really?
Dressed like a champion. You can get the Heart of a Champion T-shirt on there. And then he also has a High Flyer T-shirt. He's also got the apparently there's hoodies up there. I have to double check and make sure that's up there. But I know from the word I got was that the hoodies have been made. So take a look there. You can get them at OneTrueSport.com. Anything you want to
Magnum TA hat.
Don't forget about the Magnum TA hat right there that Greg has.
Can you read it? Oh, there it is.
Look at that. Look at the quality of that. That's a black denim hat you can get right now on OneTrueSport.com. And be sure to scoop one of those up and support the show. We're going to get more of those coming in, more designs happening that I got word about. So I'm pretty excited for all that stuff.
It's a great hat for the guys losing their hair.
That's it. I'm a big hat guy, obviously. So
Me too.
Yeah. We're all wearing hats today, and you guys can be wearing hats today too if you go to OneTrueSport.com. So, guys, this has been fun. Magnum, is there anything else you want to plug in regards to Power Town or kind of tease anything? You kind of talked about it a little bit earlier on, but
keep your eye on our website. We'll be updating ship dates for the products that we have already got in the pipeline, and again, this fall we're going to have some great announcements and some new things coming everybody's way. So it's going to be a good way to close out the year, and 2025 is going to be a whirlwind.
Ooh, yeah. Well, Greg's about to go through one right now, so
I am, man. It's really getting bad here. The hail's coming now.
we better get him out of here. You can follow him on Instagram at Gagne.Greg. Maybe Greg will share some videos
I'm
of
heading for the basement.
he's heading for the basement. You can follow Magnum at Real Magnum at Magnum_TA on Instagram, and follow him at the Real Magnum TA on Twitter as well. PowertownWrestling.com. Check it out. Keep tabs on it. You never know when it's going to show up, so get excited for that. OneTrueSport.com. Thank you, producer Robert, for all the help. Our tech whiz. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in here at OneTrueSportTV.com. Be sure to join and become a member. You get more content like this behind a paywall and more stuff to come. So appreciate you guys all and appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks, Magnum. Thanks, Greg.
See you later.
See you guys later. Oh my God.